Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to the Tuesday Tea, the best day of the week. My name's Maddie.
I'm Carly.
And today we're going to be going through mother-in-law and father-in-law horror stories. And boy, oh boy, did you guys send through a lot of stories. We're appalled, but it's okay. It's fun to read them through. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, we're going to do some life updates and do a little girly chit-chat and see where everything goes. I don't know why I said that.
You never know where it's going to go. We could go north. We could go south. You have no idea.
So we're just going to jump right into the topic everyone wants to know about. Carly, how was your blind date?
It was great.
It was great.
Not me literally stressing about how I'm going to debrief this. But it was really good. Thank you for setting that up. It was so fun.
Okay.
It was a little scheme.
Mm-hmm. So to preface, when I met Carly like 2 years ago, she was like, oh my gosh, I saw a really cute guy at church today and my friend knows who he is and whatever. And I was like, who is he? Show me a picture. So she showed me a picture and I was like, I know that guy from college way back in California, which is such a small world. So I saw him and we were never really friends or anything like that. We have a mutual friend, but I mean, I saw him around campus and thought he was cute because he's a very good looking guy. And so I looked him up on Instagram, but he had a girlfriend at the time. So we were like, oh, dang it, whatever. Maybe one day. And then he started posting recently. And when someone starts posting and you could just tell they've broken up with their significant other, they just start posting more.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you're being a little active on the socials. And they're not
active for a taken guy.
Yeah. And they're not sharing their girlfriend anymore. And so my friend who's a mutual friend, she randomly was like, so I think so-and-so and his girlfriend broke up. And I was like, yeah, I thought that too. And I was like, I really want to set him and Carly up on a date. So I messaged him on Instagram and I was like, so any chance you're single and would be open to being set up on a blind date? And so he said, yeah. So I've never really even met him before, but it was just such like a long time coming because, I feel like single Christian men in Nashville that actually seem like genuine good people are kind of few and far between. Mm-hmm. So I was just so happy to be able to set you up. So yeah, it had been a long time coming because you just thought he was cute for so long. So like when you walked into the date and you saw that it was him, what did you think?
I was excited because I was like, okay, now it's finally time to chat. And like, I've never met him before.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I think in any other world, I would have been even more nervous because you showed me that picture of him a while ago and he was so cute. And like just knowing he's Christian and single and tall and seems somewhat normal would probably have put a lot of pressure on me in the past. But honestly, I was just like, he's just a boy.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to know him just as a person.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Yeah, it was really good.
So how was the conversation?
It was really good. Honestly, it flowed really well. He was very polite. Of course, I like to evaluate myself and give myself a rating or, and a nice evaluation after the date. I found myself so annoyed with myself that I started to talk about investment opportunities in Nashville. Like, why? Why are we talking about investment opportunities? I'm like, this would be a strategic spot to make a cocktail bar in Nashville. I'm like, who do I think I am?
Walk me through that. How did that conversation go?
I think we were talking about cocktail bars, and he had asked me if I had been to a certain one in Nashville. And then I went down the rabbit hole of, because this is a soapbox I like to stand on, is there's no good cocktail bars in a certain part of town that I live in.
Which is a bold thing to say because Nashville has an abundance of cocktail bars.
They do, but not in this one area.
Okay.
That I live in.
Yeah.
And so we started to talk strategy about that. I'm like, what am I doing here? Why in the world? And then we're talking about a gravel lot and like how to build and the vibe. I'm like, Carly, you have no idea what you're saying. This isn't even you. Like, yes, I agree with that, but this isn't how I want to come across.
Yeah, like, yeah, you think that there could be a cocktail bar there. Will you ever open a cocktail bar? Is that on your dream list? No.
Like, and we talked about it maybe for a good 15 minutes.
No.
And in my head, I'm like, what have I done? Where have I gotten myself to in this conversation? How do I get out of it? And we just keep going. And I'm like, this isn't me. And I feel bad because I'm like, is this how I'm coming across? Like,
yeah,
a raging businesswoman that has all these ideas and is going to take over Nashville. So then I didn't get self-conscious, but the conversation flowed really well. It was very organic. He seems completely normal and wonderful and nice and sweet. He wasn't braggy. He was very interested in asking me questions.
Yeah.
I found I felt a lot more comfortable asking him questions. He was a gentleman for sure. And yeah, he was just honestly a pleasure to be around.
Yeah.
But I can't help but look back and think like, why did I say those things? Like, that's not even me.
That's so normal, though.
It's so frustrating.
I think no matter how well the date goes, everyone's always going to have something that where they're like, why did I say that? Or why did I do that?
And then I'm like, is that something he's going to hold on to of like, oh, I don't want somebody that's, you know, so obsessed with cocktail bar. Like, you know what I mean?
He's like, it's not, I don't want a wife that owns a cocktail bar.
Yeah, literally.
But, you know, I just feel like you're your own worst critic, you know? And if he honestly wanted to get to know you, he would discover that you aren't actually that way.
Yeah, true. So then it's just like, what was the holistic way you come across is the question. Like, I don't know what that looked like because I've never met myself before. But I started to show him my Spotify. I'm like, what am I doing?
What? Wait, how did you guys get on that topic?
I think we just started talking about like music we listen to, and he asked my favorite country artists, and of course I'm like, I can't think of anything right now. Like I thought of Lacey K. Booth and but I couldn't really think, and I was like, oh, I obviously love Morgan Wallen. Yeah. And we shared that in common. I was like, I love Zach Bryan. And he just shared that he had seen him live and he just wasn't kind of like the live kind of guy to go see.
Oh, interesting.
Which I think is an unpopular opinion. So I was curious about that and started pressing him for that. I'm like, why am I pressing you for that? That was just your opinion.
Have you ever even seen him live?
No. He was like, it's kind of the music you play in the car and play in the house and whatnot. I'm like, for sure. But like, he's a dream to go see. And so I start just wailing on him about this detail. I'm like, Carly, just sit back and listen.
Yeah.
Like, that's who you are. You're not somebody that challenges somebody. What am I doing? So I think kind of like nerves took over that way.
Yeah.
Of, I don't know. And I just feel bad. So hopefully I didn't come across, I don't know. I just.
I'm sure you did great.
Yeah. No, it was fine.
And you know, all this is just practice, like, because I would like to share, when she was done with the date, she was all fired up. She texted me. She was like, I'm so excited to go on more dates. I want to make a Bumble profile, a real Bumble profile.
I don't want to make a Bumble profile. I want you to run the show.
Okay, I'll make it for you.
Yeah, I do not want an online date. But you can find me the dates if you would like.
Yeah, that works.
If that's the way you want to go, I'm open to it, but I will not be online dating.
So do I make a profile for you? Like,
yes.
But I don't want to talk to people like I'm you.
Oh, right. No, I think you're just like, hey, this is her friend running her account.
Yeah.
You guys seem like a good fit. Would love to set you up. Are you okay with that? Are you comfortable with that?
I honestly love that.
Yeah.
I could say like she doesn't want an online date, but she's a gem, so I'm trying to find her dates.
Yeah, that's great.
Wait, that
I mean,
could
don't
work.
lie and say I'm great, but like, you know,
she actually sucks.
She's horrible. She's honestly horrible. Anyways, I'm just self-conscious about how I came across, but it was fine. It was fun. I'm really grateful for it. I think I'm hard on myself about it.
You are. And it's just the jitters. And like now when you go on future dates and you start to have businesswoman Carly or alter ego come out, you can put a halt to it because you know
say, shh,
that,
Carly, quiet.
Yeah. There's kind of an art of dating and like a practice of dating. Yeah. And once you get more into it, you'll just feel so much more comfortable and you just rip the Band-Aid off. And I'm so proud of you. You did great.
I appreciate that. And that's a really great perspective. But I think I feel like, did I screw that up?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be heartbroken if I did, but like.
But okay. When you were done with the date, I asked you, do you want to go on a second date? Like if he asked you.
Yeah.
And you were like, I mean, I'd be open to it. Like I wouldn't say no, but you weren't like, oh my gosh, this is my husband. Yeah. Like I really, really like this guy. We really connected. Like you guys had a good time.
Yeah.
And you both liked each other. Were there sparks? Was it fireworks? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But there could be down the road. But you're just like open to it.
Yes.
So.
Well, and I think I'm okay with that. Like that's reality. I'm more than happy with it being a fireplace versus sparks. Like that's what I'm looking for is that like cozy support, love kind of thing. But also if there aren't crazy sparks or crazy connection and there were jitters, how could anybody be open to a second date, if that makes sense? Like from his perspective, like if it was just good, how do you give somebody a second shot, especially when you treat them like it was a really nice dinner and he was very much a gentleman and very generous and very kind. Like, if it was just okay and really you didn't uncover who she was, how could you say, let's go on a second date, I guess?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you have to feel some sort of spark. And it also just depends where he's at.
I don't even know if I felt a spark. It was just
Exactly.
It was just good though. And I'm not saying that that means you count it out.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, okay, we're 29, we're 30. I'm good with just like the stable kind of person. I'm okay with it not being like Hollywood sparks and, oh my gosh, this is my husband.
Yeah, but you're not going to settle.
No, I won't settle. But like, also there are those slow burn love stories.
For sure.
It's just hard. Like, how do you know which is which?
Yeah. It's just time.
Yeah, just time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the more time that you guys spend together, it could blossom into something else if you guys were to go out again or if you run into each other.
Yeah.
Because later you discovered that you guys are actually neighbors.
Yeah, we found out we were neighbors when we were texting later, which is just, what a small freaking world. And what are the chances? Like, literally.
Yeah. Wait, how did you find that out though?
When I moved into this new house a month or two ago, I made it my mission to be friends with my neighbors or just have the connections. Because my dream has just always been to like have a group chat and have neighborhood cookouts and whatnot. And so I was like, this time I'm actually going to do something about it. So I got brownies and I wrote cards to like 10 to 15 neighbors and put my phone number, like, so happy to be in the neighborhood, can't wait to meet you, and dropped off brownies in bags with these cards to all these neighbors.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe only 6 neighbors texted me.
Rude.
I know. What? Hello? What more could you ask for? Just kidding. And he was one of them. And so we didn't put 2 and 2 together that the phone number.
Yeah, that the phone number was the one that texted you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we just put those pieces together, which I'm like, oh my gosh, we're neighbors. Like, literally so close. So that's funny. That's a funny little story. But
yeah,
overall, it went great. I feel so grateful that you took the effort and time to set us up. That was so sweet of you.
It was so fun.
It was fun.
So hopefully you guys will see each other around and maybe a friendship will blossom. Maybe you guys will go out again. You never know.
Yeah.
But either way, you've got the first date out of the way.
Yes.
And now you're ready. You're feeling good to go and conquer the dating world. So I really like that idea that I'll make a profile for you and send you on dates.
You're welcome to run it.
Are we committing to the 2 dates a month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So we'll give updates on this podcast so you guys can follow along with Carly's dating career.
Heck.
And we're going to have a lot of dating updates because woof.
What is she doing? Nobody knows. But we're going to go for it.
You're on your Rumspringer.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about that in one of the first episodes?
I sure do.
The Amish people.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I will say, to circle back to last week's episode, I was like, I'm going to be featured in the next episode about embarrassing first dates because of bodily function issues. We were so into this conversation and there was no natural break for a good 10 minutes where I, quite honestly, was so close to peeing my pants. I'm like, if I don't make a mad dash now, it will happen in this booth.
Yeah.
And that would just...
Nothing's worse than that when your bladder is like pulsing.
Oh my
God. It's like
was
throbbing.
Past, It was past pulsing. It was in pain.
Oh no.
I was trying to find all different positions to really like keep it all in there.
Yeah.
And eventually I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. Do you know where it is? And he's like, I think it's that way. I run into a chair on my way out. Like knocking tables over. I'm
so glad you didn't pee a little when you ran into the chair.
It was... just start squatting there, honestly. I was so close to giving up. I'm like, it's going to happen. That was horrifying. So thankfully that didn't happen.
I know. Well, you guys went to dinner at 7 and I texted you at like 9 because I didn't know. How long are you at dinner for? I felt like 2 hours was a long time. Yeah. And then you text me, you're like, I'm on my first pee break. And I'm like, your first pee break? You've been there for 2 hours.
Literally right when I got in the stall, I opened my phone and you had literally just texted me saying like, checking in, how you feeling? Yeah, we were there until close, until 10. They kicked us out.
Yeah, you guys shut the place down.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so how are you doing? Any new Netflix shows? Any new life updates?
I'm getting over a cold. I was sick over the weekend, which is no fun. But honestly, I'm so thankful to have gotten a fall cold versus a summer cold. Ooh. Like, nothing is worse than getting a cold in the summer. You know, when it's hot outside? And, like, the last, like, couple of days have been so cozy. I've never heard of a summer cold. You've never heard of that? No. I feel like that's a real thing.
I only get a fall or winter cold.
Oh.
There's a summer cold?
Yeah.
Maybe it's COVID.
Well, maybe. But just being sick in the summer is, like, no fun. You have to stay inside. It's hot. You're sweaty.
Yeah.
But, like, it's been so cozy. And so to get a cold at the start of fall, honestly, I'm like, it's kind of a vibe. Like, I'm drinking tea, I'm having soup. It's cloudy outside, it's kind of cold. So, the last weekend, I was just kind of resting at home and stuff. Pickleball Boy and I started House of Cards on Netflix. Have you ever watched that?
House of Cards. House of Cards.
Yeah.
Is it
It's an old show.
Is it the one with Kevin Spacey?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's canceled now.
Sure
I guess.
is.
I don't really know much
I
about
predicted that, by the way.
Did you?
That was on my like 2019 bingo card.
Wait, how did you know?
Weird vibes.
Oh.
I got really weird vibes. Claire was cool. She's a boss, but like
Oh, so you watched it?
I think I watched 4 seasons. How many are there?
I think there's like 6.
Okay, I stopped. I won't say.
I think it's still on when he.
Oh, it is.
I just saw on Netflix there's a new season that came out, and every time you go to start the show, the preview for the new season starts playing, and it gives
they gotta
away the
fix that.
biggest spoiler.
They gotta fix
like,
that.
Okay, spoiler alert. Fast forward 15 seconds if you haven't watched it and want to watch it. But it's like when I lost my husband. So he obviously dies,
Oh
and
my
it
gosh, I
shows
didn't
her
even know
at
he
his
died.
grave, and then it's like an I ran for president.
Oh.
So it's the biggest spoiler, but
Why
I
would they
think
do
that
that?
they killed him off because he got canceled. They had to
No
like
way.
figure out a way to get him off the show.
He gives me really weird vibes.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Do you get weird vibes from him?
Well, not really, but I don't think I've ever seen him in anything other than this.
okay.
So I'm not really familiar with him and all that stuff, but his character is kind of weird. But
Yeah.
it's a very interesting show. It's kind of sad because it just goes to show, not that we're ever going to get into anything political in this podcast, but like just how everything is about yourself. Like nothing is about like the people or the policies. It's all about personal gain and how high you can go up the ladder and how you can get there, and like just politicians in general.
Just defeats the purpose of what politics is supposed to be.
It's honestly kind of disheartening, especially being an election year. I'm like, no one even cares about us. It's all just games. But it's a really interesting show. So we've been watching that. But I really want to watch that one show. What's it called?
I think it's called Nobody But You.
Nothing But You. You guys know the one that we're talking about with Kristen Bell.
Yeah, the new one that just came out about the podcast.
Yeah.
It's so freaking cute.
Have you watched? How many episodes have you watched?
I'm only 4 episodes in, and I think there's 10.
Yeah.
Have you started it?
No, but I want to watch it so bad. Everyone says that they binge it in like one sitting because it's just so good.
It's so good. It's so cute. It makes anybody that struggles with an avoidant attachment style
That's
just
what I
feel
heard,
like you have hope. And Adam Brody, I think is his name, the actor. 10 out of 10.
So what was he in? He was in something big.
I don't know. If I had to guess from the hype, it was something like Gossip Girl. It was like that era, I think.
Or maybe the OC or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, he was in something.
Yeah. And like, so I guess he's allegedly aged like fine wine.
Yeah, he has a big, loyal fan base, for sure.
If I saw him on the street before this show, I would have never known who he was.
No, me either.
I missed the OC, the Gossip Girl, I missed that train. I did One Tree Hill, Secret Life of the American Teenager.
Yeah, oh my gosh, TBT.
Wait, what's like another one in that?
Oh,
Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
Those were me.
Yeah.
I missed Sex in the City.
Oh, you
Should I
can go
do
back
that?
and watch that. Yeah, I just watched that like a year or two ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really good. It's fun for you to watch while you're single.
Okay.
Like when you're in your single girl era, it's like
Yeah.
a really fun show.
Okay.
It's about friendship and just dating and all that.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you should watch it.
I should. I can't wait for you to start this new show with Kristen Bell.
I know.
It's just iconic.
Yeah.
It's like it's very lighthearted, you can tell,
Yeah.
and really sweet.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso is going to be my next one. I still have not. I know.
See, I am not typically a comedy show girl. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really like sitcoms.
Okay.
But I don't know why. I really like dark television. Like, I like
should talk
suspenseful
about
stuff.
that.
Like House of Cards. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a feel-good show, but it's
Surely not.
really interesting. So I like those kinds of shows. So it takes a lot for me to sit down and watch like a feel-good show. But once I do, I always like it. Like, I was that way with Friends. I was that way with New Girl. And once I finally watched them, I'm like, these are the best shows ever. Same thing with Ted Lasso. I like tried a couple times and I couldn't get past like the second episode. And then one time I committed, and it is such a good show.
I'm glad. Did you actually like sit down and watch it or have it in the background?
No, I sat down and watched it. Yeah.
That's good.
It's so good.
Maybe you just have to ration it well with, like, you can't like overdo it with the lighthearted feel good shows. Like, only do the ones that are top notch, well reviewed.
I think I have to be in the mood for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're coming out with a new season. Did you hear? Oh, so the last season ended and it was like everyone thought it was the ending, but I guess they're coming out with another one.
Surprise.
So
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a new season of Survivor just came out,
boy.
which I freaking love Survivor. I don't know if any of you guys listening watch it because I feel like it's kind of dying a little bit. Like everyone used to watch it when we were young with family and all that.
Yeah.
But I am still committed. I freaking love it.
You.
It's so good. I want to go on Survivor. I think it would be such an experience.
You would willingly sign up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Jeff Probst, if you're listening.
Jeff.
Sign me up.
Is it the same location every time?
Yeah, it is now. It didn't used to be.
How do you feel about the rumors that they really have like a hotel and a full buffet and mashed
Where
potatoes?
are these rumors coming from?
I don't know, man.
That is not true.
Know.
You get that when you get sent home. Like you have to,
feast.
if you're on the jury, you stay at a hotel until it's done because you have to come back every episode. So maybe that's what they're talking about.
Where is the location?
I think it's in like Fiji or something.
My gosh.
I think they own like the island or part of the island
that's
at least
cool.
because they used to move. But I mean, if you think about it, they have all that equipment for all the
True.
stuff. Like they have
Production.
to, the production has to stay somewhere, so they have to have all that stuff there. So I think that they own it.
Maybe you could work on production and then get your fill without having to
No,
starve yourself and kill bunnies and.
kill bunnies. They don't actually do that.
Well, how do
now.
they eat?
They just eat like fish and rice and beans. But you're basically starved for a lot of it.
Yeah.
But then you win rewards. I just think it'd be so cool.
You also have to deceive people.
Yeah. I think my hardest thing would be I get so many bug bites. Like, honestly, like I was outside doing yard work yesterday. I kid you not. I got like 13 bug bites. Like, I think I just have that blood.
You do.
And so I'd be really scared of getting bit by a bunch of bugs
Yeah.
on the show and just being like eaten alive and then like scarring my legs. Ooh, that's what I would be scared of. I know that that's so dumb. And then I'd also be scared to take out my hair extensions.
Okay.
Because I feel like I would have to take them out. They would mat.
Oh, wow.
But there's a lady on there right now who obviously has hair extensions, and I'm so curious to see how they evolve as she
you report back
Yeah.
every week. Report back on how the hair extensions are doing on Survivor.
But anyways, I would like to be on that one day. And then Bachelor, the Golden Bachelorette. I've been watching that.
Okay.
Did you watch it at all? I literally have cried every single episode. It is so sweet.
Are you feeling better about the woman?
Yeah, I like her.
Is Pickleball Boy obsessing over Joan?
Honestly, he hasn't even been watching it with me. I've been out of town every Wednesday, so he's gotten away with not watching it, but
Watch him like freaking binging it in his bedroom.
Yeah, right.
In the living room with the boys.
He has like a heart, hard eyes around her. No, he doesn't really care to watch it, but it's just been so sweet. There's the sweetest Asian man. Oh my gosh, he's so pure.
Wow.
And he
Listen to
just
her.
deserves the world. His wife died, and oh my God, just hearing their stories,
Yeah.
I literally just cry the whole time.
Really?
But I guess they announced that they want to do Golden Bachelor in Paradise because everyone's saying like there's all these like matchups, like guys from this season and girls from the last season that like would go really well together.
That's cool because it's just upping the chances of more love versus just like
Exactly.
one person getting somebody.
Yeah, and like the matches that people have come up with, honestly, I'm like they would be perfect for each
Really?
other. So they want to do, I don't think it'd be like on the beach and like the same as regular Bachelor in Paradise, but it'd be some sort of situation where they all get together and they can mingle. So I hope that they end up doing that.
Maybe they could do like an assisted living building.
Oh my gosh,
Bingo
how
room.
sad. A bingo room. Honestly, I love bingo.
Assisted living. That was a good one, Carly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look at you, so funny.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Show catchup.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
That's basically my life update.
We love it though. I'll be on
Yeah.
that train shortly with this new show. Should we hop into submissions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm so excited to read through these. Some of them are freaking wild.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, my first one. I just got married. Where do I even begin with my mother-in-law?
Oh no, she's already married in.
Yep, she's there. She's in. So we have a 1, 2, and a 3. So we'll start with 1. It's
Okay.
just literally like bulleted.
I love it. An organized queen.
Very organized. Number 1. Told us we can either get married in a church and raise our children to know God or under a tree and live in sin. We got married at a winery and it was beautiful. You go, girl. Couldn't have felt more of his presence if I tried. Best day of our lives.
Oh, I love that.
Number 2, take that. Number 2, she insisted that me and my husband take dance lessons, which we loved, but she scheduled our first one on the same day we were supposed to go pick out our wedding bands. We called her to ask if it'd be easier for her to reschedule us because she booked it. When I tell you, she flipped her lid and told us dance lessons are far too important that we can borrow her and her husband's wedding bands instead of if we have to.
Borrow their wedding bands?
Like what?
Ma'am.
What? I mean, I don't even know how to respond to that. I mean, that's just outlandish. Okay. 3, and personal fave. Of course, parents want all their friends at the wedding, but there's a certain couple me and my husband don't get along with, and we told his parents numerous times they weren't invited. Well, fast forward 1 week before the wedding, and we get put in a group chat where she lets us know that 2 other people we didn't invite are unable to come, but that she went ahead and invited the couple we didn't get along with, nor were invited, going as far as telling them she apologizes on our behalf that their invite must have gotten lost.
Ma'am. Wait, and she knew that they weren't invited? The mother-in-law knew?
Yes, they made it clear. Not once did she ask us what we thought of this, just went ahead and did it. I was furious and tensions were high, but we got through it. The couple ended up coming, took home several of my centerpieces.
No.
And re-gifted us a discontinued 2004 Costco Hostess set. It's like,
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I would just ask the mother-in-law to come sit down right here and let's talk through that. Like, what were you thinking when you put us in that group chat, decided to invite them, when
she knew exactly what she was doing? That was a power move.
Disturbing.
That was a power move.
Why? It's not your wedding, even though I think parents think it's their wedding.
Yeah.
Which, like, thank you for making us. Thank you for conceiving us. We're here because of you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, like, you have to respect
Yeah.
our requests for who's at our wedding. This is about, yes, it's about the parents to a degree.
Yeah.
I get heated about that.
I think it gets sticky when finances are involved. Like when the parents are paying, then they're like, they have more of a say. And it's harder for them to respect that boundary. I agree. Like it's not their day at all, but I think that that's where it gets a little messy.
True, because that's where they can justify
yeah,
if we're
like
paying.
I'm paying. I want to invite my friends.
But like if you objectively don't have a good relationship with that couple and you don't get along with them and they want them there, like that's something you have to respect.
For
like
sure.
You can have the people there that maybe we don't have a relationship with, but like if we asked you specifically not to have this couple, I just don't get it. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd say it is a power move. I think you're right.
It is a power move.
Yucky.
I'm curious to hear how the husband/fiance at that time reacted.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so much of it is on them. Whoever is the offspring of those parents, like they're the ones that need to say something. It's so much harder for the married in person to like stand up for themselves. Yeah. Oh, gosh.
It's also really interesting in who stands up for the wife or the other partner and who stands up for the parents when the parents are out of line. Like, they talk about that in some of these stories, and it's really interesting to see where the loyalty lands.
Yeah.
That can be really difficult.
That's why people say, like, mama's boys are good in some aspects, but a little scary in other ones, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, here's mine. My ex-mother-in-law was so involved in our marriage. She knew our finances, sleeping arrangements, how often we had sex. She knew everything.
Sorry?
Yeah.
How in the world would she know that?
How do you think? Her husband.
No.
Yep. She says my ex-husband routinely went to her to tell her problems before he ever brought them up to me.
Oh, that's such a line.
I know.
That's such a line that was just nicely crossed.
Yeah. He'd ask her for money and not even tell me. And then she'd tell me, you need to stop buying Amazon packages and be better about your money. I can sit with you and go over your finances. Show me your David Ramsey program. I can be your financial advisor. Keep in mind, I paid for everything. What? I took all of the finances and we had separate accounts. Like I 100% took care of all the bills. So I was confused when I was told I had Amazon packages because I wasn't even ordering anything since I knew that I couldn't afford it. I took care of it all because my ex said he had no money. At the time, I didn't know how much he made until I filed for divorce and learned a lot. Like he made almost 6 figures and had a mistress.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Anywho, well, also, how do you not know how much your husband makes? Unless he was lying.
Well, people are also, money is a weird thing to some people.
Yeah,
it's
but
like
I feel like if you're married, you have to, I guess they had separate accounts, so. Okay. Anywho, when I said I had no idea what you're talking about, she said that my husband had asked for thousands again that day. And while she could help me get out of it, it shouldn't be necessary this often. But if I don't rein in my spending, it'll be trouble later. And then she brought up our lack of sex and the fact that we sleep in separate rooms. Oh, and she knew all about the fact that he had an affair and met the girl and never said anything to me, his wife. Oh, and when I had my first child, she came over about a month postpartum and yelled at me and got in my face and said how terrible I was and how awful I was to her and just horrible, horrible things that I will never repeat. She constantly gave me backhanded compliments at whatever I was wearing, my weight, food I made, or what I was doing for her son, and that I was terrible and breaking his heart. Like, sorry, Susan, I'm not trying to take on another task.
Sit down.
I already paid for everything. I took care of the kids 100%, and I did all of the household tasks on top of having a full-time job. We did have a gardener, so he didn't have to do outside chores. So please, what else should I do for your son? Wipe his ass. Sorry, that's funny. She would do everything for him, like write his emails, do his laundry, apply to jobs, do his family leave, his health care, his doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, etc. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Also, he's in his 30s and married, so grow the hell up. She's a little spicy. You could tell this is a little fresh.
No, literally. I would be too.
She says, but yeah, I'm thankful that she's an ex-mother-in-law. It was borderline creepy. Like, how do you have so much information about me and about us? Who tells their mom as a man what they do with their spouse intimately? It's like being married to him was stepping on her toes. It was so strange. If anything, she set an example of what I hope to never be for my kids. Aww. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
There are so many things to unpack with that. Like, why are you telling your mom your sex life? Why did the mom meet his mistress and not tell the wife?
And then continue to blame you for things.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, she was saying that the husband kept asking for thousands of dollars and they were having packages come in that she didn't even order. I bet he was using that money on his mistress.
100%.
And blaming it on his wife.
What was his childhood like? That's what I'm really interested in. Like, how can this relationship evolve like this?
Yeah.
How can it...
It's those parents that think that their kids can do no wrong that are the worst.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how can you see that your son is cheating on his wife and justify that in your mind?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, she was probably like, well, she doesn't do anything. She spends all of his money. She never has sex with him. So, of course, he's going to go find someone else.
What? That's not a mother figure.
No.
You're trying to be a friend, and like a fun friend. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
And also, girls support girls. Hello.
I know.
What the heck?
She's not in the girlhood.
I'd be curious what their dating was like, and then also how long they were married.
Yeah.
Like when everything started coming out.
Yeah.
Because that is a trip.
Probably not long.
Oh, I'm sorry that happened, but I'm glad it was what you know not to be as a mother-in-law one day. Yuck. All right, my second one. Oh boy, where do I even begin? I have a mother-in-law who's a control freak and has zero boundaries. My boyfriend, now husband, and I had been dating for a year when we decided we'd move in together. We started looking for an apartment and found a place that was brand new and had a great move-in special. It was the last day to get the move-in discount, but he was working late that day and wouldn't be able to go see it, so he told me to go look at it and send pictures. He liked the place after seeing the photos and told me to go ahead, move forward, sign the lease, secure the apartment, and that we would tour it together the following day after he got off work so we could see our new home together. I went to his place after we got off work that night, and he said to me, my mom wants to know what time we're all going to see the new apartment tomorrow. I said, what? He said, yes, she wants to approve of the place before we move in. I laughed and said, you're joking, because number one, we're both 25 years old and more than capable of choosing a place to live on our own, and number two, we already signed the lease. I was upset because I felt us seeing our first place together, just the two of us, was something special.
Yeah.
My mom was not tagging along, nor did she think we needed her approval to move in. I told him his mother was not invited and that she could see the place the following week when we got the keys. I felt and still feel that was more than reasonable. He seemed hesitant to tell his mother she wasn't allowed to come, but I put my foot down. He sent her a text telling her she wasn't coming, and his phone immediately rang. I could hear her screaming on the other end of the phone.
Terrifying. Oh my gosh.
Just like so dramatic.
Yeah.
And like, why do you think that's your place? What's happening? And maybe these moms are lonely, okay? Like, their whole life surrounds these people, these kids. I get it. I don't get it, but okay. He looked very stressed, but told her once again she was not invited and could come see our place after we received the keys. I thought that was the end of it. Silly me. The time comes for us to see the place together the next day, and I arrived a little early.
No, don't tell me she was there.
As I pull into the parking lot of the leasing office, whose car do I see parked up front?
No.
You guessed it, his mother's.
Oh my gosh, I'm scared. I'm scared.
You should be. I immediately pick up the phone and call my boyfriend, asking him if he knows his mother is there after she was told no. He was immediately angry and said he had no idea. The mother sees me out the window and comes running out, crying, begging me not to tell my boyfriend that she was there. Too late. Turns out she had been pressuring our leasing agent to let her into our apartment before we got there, thinking we could never find out she had even been there.
Oh.
Is that like a control thing? Like,
what's she going to say if something's wrong? If she doesn't approve of something?
And
what's
also the
her plan?
lease is already signed. What does it matter? Like, I think it's control. Or she's planting cameras or something.
Oh.
I know. The leasing agent denied her access, luckily. But at that point, my boyfriend had arrived, and as they argued in front of the building, she weaseled her way into joining us on our new apartment tour because she was already there. What was supposed to be a sweet moment between the two of us was ruined.
Imagine how awkward that was.
I mean, especially when you're like, okay, at the end of the day, it isn't that big of a deal. But when you've made it a big deal and it's become this whole thing,
at that point, it's not about the lease, it's about boundaries.
It is, exactly. Like, that is what makes it uncomfortable. Not the fact that she's just there. It's the fact that, like, this has become a thing now.
She's not taking no for an answer.
You're not being respectful. Yeah, terrible. I should have known that many other special moments in our lives would continue to be ruined by her, including our engagement, announcing my pregnancy on Facebook before I had told half my family, my baby shower, the day I gave birth to our first child, our child's first birthday, and the list goes on.
Oh my gosh, ma'am.
Maybe our podcast should be called The Audacity of People.
Yeah, like, literally.
What the heck?
Yeah, what is that? Is that a power thing? At least a positive is it does sound like the husband is aware.
Yes.
He's not like, oh, it's my mom, like he's on the wife's side.
He gets it, yeah.
And so I think as long as they're on the same team, they have the same mentality around it, I think that makes a big difference. Because at least they can complain to each other about it and stuff. Yes, it's not like a thing where she has to tiptoe around because she doesn't want him to get upset because it's his mom.
I feel like that can cause the biggest divide is if you're not on the same team. Yeah. Like, really, in-laws are it's such an important relationship.
Yeah.
But what's more important is how you are together as a team.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's honestly a good test to see, like, how your partner reacts, especially while you're dating, like how they were just dating at that time.
Yeah.
Like, to see that he was on her side and stuff.
That's
a really good sign. But, oh my gosh, that is
what the heck?
Crazy.
What the heck?
That's
Mamas.
Crazy. Mama, get in line, mama. Okay, my next one. Crazy father-in-law story. Let me preface this with my husband has since distanced himself from his parents. I came into my husband's life in 2015 and quickly realized his parents didn't have a healthy relationship and their family dynamic wasn't either. I instantly became guarded and only interacted when I needed to save my energy and my mental health. We love a self-aware queen. Fast forward to 24 hours after I gave birth to our daughter in December 2019, my in-laws came to the hospital, and within 10 minutes, my father-in-law told me flat out, next baby needs to be a boy to carry on the family name.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hormones are raging in my body, and I responded with, some family trees are meant to die.
She did not.
She did.
How in the world did she think of such a good response that quickly?
Literally.
I would marinate over the best response, and it'd be far too late at that point.
Yeah, it would haunt you in the shower and when you're trying to fall asleep for months.
That would have been good. Yeah. Wow, that's a good one.
She said, I haven't seen my father-in-law in almost 4 years, and it's liberating. Needless to say, my husband and his parents have a rift, and we are doing well without them.
Wow.
I know.
I'm so curious on the journey of that. Like, was that the last straw, and like had it been building just issues happening?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
But imagine you just have a baby, you have a sweet baby girl, and then your father-in-law comes in the audacity and he says something like that. Like, sir, you can see yourself out, okay?
No, literally. And hey, if you want to say that to your wife.
Yeah.
Don't say that to the woman that just
He probably thought it was a joke.
Out of basketball.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And at the end of the day, if it's a healthy baby, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean,
F off.
Yeah.
Especially if there's already tension.
Yeah.
It'd be different if it was like really good, healthy, fun relationship. Like, okay, whatever. Even if it was uncalled for, whatever. Yeah. But sir, you shouldn't even be allowed in the room.
Mm-mm.
Heck, good for you for saying such a witty comment. You're my role model. Okay, my next one. Back in 2020, when travel was relatively affordable, my then boyfriend, now husband, and I booked a trip to Cabo. We were both excited, and at 24, we felt mature enough to make our own decisions. I love that. It's like a little slight. I love it. We had been together for 5 years, and while his mom was distant, his dad was always kind and polite. During our trip, his mom constantly bombarded him with texts and calls demanding that he return home each night. In Cabo.
What?
He would repeat.
Like it's a short drive away.
Yeah.
Come home.
No
curfew's 10 o'clock.
Oh my gosh. He would repeatedly assure her that we were in Cabo, but she would cry and insist that he come back, claiming he didn't have her permission to leave, especially during the pandemic. This was understandable, but the crying seemed excessive. Upon our return, I went to his house for dinner at his mom's invitation. As I walked in, I noticed our shared luggage, which had my name on it. My boyfriend ignored the luggage and we sat down for dinner. Midway through, his mom asked me who had given her permission to take her son to Cabo. I thought she was joking, but she became furious and threw her napkin at me. I stood up and walked.
She threw her napkin. She's like, take this.
I stood up and walked towards the door, and my boyfriend began arguing with his mom. I tried to calm the situation and leave peacefully, but she grabbed my arm and attempted to slap me. I instinctively reacted, grabbed her arm, and told her not to dare touch me.
Good.
She accused me of being inconsiderate for taking her son on a trip without her permission. I became so angry that I cursed at her, and my boyfriend decided to leave with me that day.
Whoa.
We found an apartment together, and he officially moved out. He didn't speak to his mom for 3 years. Now
Whoa.
we're married with children, and we have to see her occasionally. That's the story of my crazy mother-in-law.
Jeez.
Yeah.
For her to blame the girlfriend for everything, like, how dare you take my son? I'm sorry. Did she, like, tie him up and force him on the plane? Like,
yeah, kidnapped him.
He hated his entire time in Cabo.
Duct
like,
tape across the mouth on the plane.
Like, how does she not have her son take any accountability for that? It was
Also, he's
obviously
a freaking adult. Let him...
Yeah.
What?
Like, I understand in 2020 leaving the country, that was probably a scary situation,
Yeah.
you know, thinking back to that time. So I understand that. But, like, to be so aggressive towards the girlfriend specifically is
aggressive is a great word.
Yeah. I just don't understand that. Like, maybe say, like, I'm really disappointed that you guys left in such a crazy time.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But not...
Let's talk about it.
You don't throw the napkin. You don't try and slap her.
No.
Like, gee whiz.
I
Can
know.
you imagine what you would do if your boyfriend's mom tried to slap you?
What?
What?
Ooh, I actually don't know what my instinct... I think I would take it. I'd
Yeah.
get slapped and then I think my eyes would water. I'd like to say I'd fight back, but I don't think I would.
I don't know what I would do.
What would you do?
I don't know. I think I would probably do the same thing.
I would be so alarmed. And that is the test of what the man does.
Uh-huh.
What does the man do?
Yeah, but it sounded like the guy was on her side, so that's good.
Yep.
Jeez.
Good job, men. Look at the loyalty.
It's crazy. Okay. My mother-in-law only has 3 sons. I am the first daughter-in-law. It's honestly been great until I had a kid. She continues to make snarky remarks about my parenting, and it's unfortunately ruining our relationship. Some examples: I was exclusively pumping breast milk because my baby had a hard time latching. She told me my baby wouldn't bond with me if I didn't breastfeed. Mind you, I was only 4 weeks postpartum, hormonal, and already upset about my breastfeeding journey. Next example: my son is now 1, and I told her he's been starting to bite and how we redirect the behavior and tell him no. I told her my concern for him to bite in daycare. Her response: he probably just bites you because you're the mean mom. The audacity.
Why?
I know.
Why?
It just blows my mind that someone can treat the mother of your grandchild like this. My husband is starting to hear the comments, and the next time he's going to call her out. Usually I just ignored it and decided to be the bigger person. I think she might have jealousy issues now that all of her sons are getting married and moving out of the house. It's just sad. I don't want my son around someone who belittles family like that. Like, can you imagine?
I'm scared of what those boundary conversations look like because, of course, in a perfect world, you just have a healthy relationship with in-laws. Like I would say with my last relationship, it was just a healthy relationship. But sometimes I had to have conversations with my ex about some inappropriate things that were said. But holistically, it was good. It was fine.
Yeah.
There were things you roll your eyes at and you move on.
Yeah.
But this kind of stuff... I mean, like, there's no way to navigate that well.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
And they're always going to have an opinion, you know, like mother-in-laws,
True.
father-in-laws, grandparents. They're always going to have an opinion about how you're raising your kids.
Yeah.
Whether they express it or not is like up to them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, things were done differently when they were parents.
Yeah.
There's new products. There's new, you know, mindsets. There's all this new stuff that they don't understand. So they're going to have opinions.
Yeah.
But, like, they shouldn't be sharing them, especially in a way that's, like, so negative and hurtful.
Yes, I agree.
But, like, when the husband's not around, too, to hear that stuff, that's the worst. Because, like, you know the feeling of, like, when you hear someone say something to you, you take it in a certain way, and then you share it with your husband or boyfriend or whatever, and their instinct is probably to be like, oh, I'm sure they didn't mean it like that. I'm sure maybe you heard it wrong, or that wasn't their intention, because they're trying to be the peacekeeper. They love their parents or whatever. Imagine, like, not having that person there to hear you and not having someone to back you up like that. You know, that's so hard. I'm glad that he is going to say something next time.
Yeah.
But that's, oh, God.
Have your back.
That does not feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good. Because I would also kind of like brace for impact. If I call them and tell them what happened, I'd literally brace for impact of like, they're not going to fully understand the gravity of what was just said.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, like context matters, but I won't be able to perfectly relay the tone.
Yeah.
And like it was spiteful and it did feel snarky.
Yeah.
And you kind of like hope, and that's where I think like so much more trust is built, and you get closer to your spouse when it is best case scenario.
Yeah.
And they just make you feel seen and loved. Like, 10 out of 10.
Is it bad of me to hope that the baby bites her?
No, I don't think so.
And then she can be like, oh, guess she doesn't only, or I don't know. She could say something mean like, oh, she bit you because you're the mean grandma.
You're the mean grandma. Yes. Okay, here's my other thing about that is maybe we just have to limit what we share with them to not have the unsolicited advice back. But also I wonder if the commentary is a bid and a hope for connection.
Yeah.
So like sometimes when I'm around somebody, I really don't necessarily love the conversation. You kind of just grasp at straws for anything to find connection over and like make good, heartfelt, warm conversation just to pass the time and just to maybe build a relationship even. But then to get the unsolicited advice and it be snarky, it's like, what the heck? Yeah. What the heck? So I would say like maybe we just
with parenting advice, don't give it.
Just don't.
Like anything.
Or don't like share a story that could go into parenting advice.
Yeah. I feel like just don't share unless you're asked.
Yes.
That's like because it's never going to be received well.
Yes.
Even if it means well, which I don't think she means well with these comments. Yeah. But even if it did mean well, I just,
And if there's a story from daycare, don't tell the mother-in-law. Like, because that's probably going to turn into unsolicited advice.
Yeah, that's an open door for her to give her opinion,
And you should be able to, but because of this situation, you can't. And it's just frustrating. And share that story with your friend or your husband or whatever, like, or your mom. Like, don't, it's just, it shouldn't be that way, but it has to be.
Yeah.
Okay. My next one. My mother-in-law flew from the Midwest to convince me to stay with my ex-husband after he tried to murder. Oh. Sorry?
He tried to what?
Tried to what? Tried to murder me.
Oh, casual.
Okay. He ripped the hair out of my head, stole my keys, wallet, and phone. I got away by using my work computer to email my bosses and coworkers to send the police. She flew down while he was in the care of professionals to tell me it wasn't his fault. The whole family lied about him being bipolar. We're now divorced, obviously.
Okay, I feel like we need more context. He tried to murder you?
Tried to murder you.
And they all lied to her about him being bipolar?
Send a frickin' award to the bosses and coworkers.
Yeah.
For sending the police. Holy smokes.
I mean, but how do you have enough time to email your coworkers and not call 911?
Like running through the hall.
Maybe she was already like emailing them?
That is so scary.
Yeah.
What a buffoon. That's well past a buffoon.
That just shows the blindness, I guess, that you can have as a parent.
Yeah.
Like trying to convince someone to stay with your son. Like even if you're aware that your son is bipolar, if he is capable of trying to physically murder someone, like maybe for that person's sake, they shouldn't be married. Isn't that person's safety more important than your son's heart being broken?
Yeah, literally.
Like, can you not make that distinction as a mother? Isn't that wild? We need a lot more context.
That is wild. I'm so sorry that happened.
That is. Well, good thing they're divorced.
Good thing.
Okay. My mother-in-law isn't the absolute worst, but not the greatest either. She always wants some things done her way, and if not, she gets upset and makes a scene. At our wedding, she was upset that we didn't open gifts during our reception. She wanted everyone.
Who has ever done that?
Yeah, I know.
No judgment if you have, but I've never heard of that being a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's also not your decision.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, could you imagine like a birthday party? They're all just like around the table opening their gifts? Ma'am, no.
Like a birthday party.
She wanted everyone, mainly my father-in-law, her ex, to know what she gifted us. With our first baby, we had a gender reveal, and instead of allowing my hubby and I to have a moment once we saw the color of the gender, she ran to my husband to hug him and said to me, "I'm stealing your moment." Ma'am.
She's aware.
Ma'am.
She's verbally expressing how aware she is.
Yep. I had to wait till she finally let him go so I could hug him after finding out we were having a girl.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine how
so
uncomfortable?
Sad.
Yeah. How uncomfy for everyone watching, everyone at the gender reveal.
Oh, yeah.
Just like,
Mama's boy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Our kids have literally only seen her a handful of times, and she lives about 5 minutes away. She always tells her parents that we never take the kids over to her house or we never let her see them, when in reality, she never asked to see them. We've told her multiple times she can come over whenever she wants. There were times where we would ask her to babysit so we could have a date night, and she would say yes and then cancel on us about an hour before our dinner reservation. I finally told her if she wants to have a relationship with our kids, she will need to make the effort and put in the work. It's not mine and my husband's responsibility to make sure that they know who she is. My parents FaceTime us multiple times a week, and they stop by randomly just to bring them clothes or say hi and spend time with them. My father-in-law also invites us over every Sunday so he could spend time with them. It annoys me that she tells everyone that it's our fault our kids don't know who she is when that's not the case. Yeah, I agree. There's so much that she's doing wrong there.
Yeah, I agree, though. That's a really good perspective about it not being on them. It's not on their plate, especially when she's canceling and things like that.
I feel like a lot of parents do that. Like, they push, I don't know if she did this, but I feel like I've heard a lot of stories of parents pushing their kids to have grandkids, specifically parents like that, who kind of just want the show and tell of having a grandchild. Like, they're just, like, excited to be a grandparent because it's about them. They're not excited for their kids to have kids. They're just excited for the title of grandparent or whatever. And then once the grandkids come, they literally show no interest because they don't want the responsibility or anything like that. They just want to, like, parade them around on Facebook and stuff.
What in the world?
And, like...
And then to gaslight the parents.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I know. But the stealing the moment at the baby shower or the gender reveal, that is just wild to me.
That's an ick. And it's a grandma.
Yeah.
That's just, it would be so uncomfortable. It's just cringeworthy at the party.
Yeah, and what do you do? Like, how do you react in front of everyone?
My first response is always panic and shock and don't move. Always.
Yeah, just stand.
Literally, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, this, I have to be dreaming. Why? I want to know why. I always need closure that way.
I know.
Just like, what was going through your head?
Yeah.
Like, I understand you're excited, but, like, read the room.
Read the room.
EQ. Emotional intelligence. EQ.
Isn't that EI?
EI. It is EI, but I think it's EQ.
Oh.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
I know.
Okay. My last one. My mother-in-law hid that she had another child 10 months after giving birth to my husband 30 years ago. She got pregnant right after, and then the father passed away tragically. She gave the child up for adoption. Many years later, I was dating my husband, and we weren't married yet, probably like 22 or 23 years old, but living with his mom. My husband was sleeping in the downstairs bedroom when she called me crying to come upstairs. She confessed to me that my husband has a sister that she gave up for adoption and is 10 months younger than him.
Oh, wow.
I also have to point out that my mother-in-law had 6 more kids that she raised with another man years later. We had gone our whole dating life thinking my husband was the oldest of 7 kids, and she dropped this bombshell on us, but we weren't upset. She did what she thought was best at the time being so young. She told us that his sister got into contact and wanted to meet us. We finally arranged to meet, and she looks exactly like his mom and his sisters and is the sweetest person we could ever meet.
Aww.
Her adopted parents became like family to us. A couple years later, my mother-in-law passed away from cancer, but she truly gave us a blessing and a wild story that we get to share with people forever. We miss her and love her so much.
Oh, that was a sweet one.
That's so sweet.
That's a good one to end on.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like I always think about that, and I'm like, how cool would it be to find out later in life that you have a sibling?
Yeah.
Like, I know some people in our close family friends like realm that they have a sibling that they don't know about. Like, everyone else knows that the dad had a baby before them.
Wild.
But they don't know. And so I don't know why he doesn't tell them. Obviously, it's not anyone else's place to say anything but the parent. But, like, I think it'd be so cool to find that out.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you'd be a little hurt that you were lied to for a while by your parents. But especially if they're such a gem like this girl was, and she looks like the mom, and now they can bond over her and tell stories and, like, teach her about her mom that she never knew. Like, that's so sweet.
There's probably so much guilt and shame and embarrassment, and that's why you just, like, hold it in. But to release it and then have this happen is best case scenario. And so freaking sweet.
I know.
Like, that's your family out there.
That's the beauty of 23andMe. I feel like there's so many stories of that kind of stuff happening because you can't hide it anymore.
Yeah. I would love to see a photo of them.
I know.
That'd be really cool to see.
Yeah. If this was you that wrote it in, send us a picture. We'll post it on our Instagram stories.
I'm sorry she passed away, but definitely sweet that she shared that with you guys, and you had a wonderful relationship with her. That's amazing.
That was a sweet one. I think for next week, I think we should do like the nicest thing someone has done for me next week. I love those ones. Whenever I would do that on my Instagram stories, I would literally cry.
Heartwarming.
Because of how touched I was by
Yeah.
all the stories. So I think we should do that.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Cup
cool.
of tea
Yeah.
and listen to these stories.
Just a little uplifting,
That would be sweet.
positive one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys aren't following us on Instagram, it's at the Tuesday Tea Podcast. And that's where we take the forms for submitting for the episode. So be sure to follow us. And if you have a story about the nicest thing someone has done for you, you can let us know because that'll be a good one. And yeah, be sure to give us a rating and review on Spotify or the podcast app if you guys listen there. And subscribe to us on YouTube if you like to see us in real life. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I can't believe it's already our
crazy.
6th episode.
I
Can you believe
know.
that? Is it our 6th?
No.
7th?
6?
Yeah.
7. I don't know.
It's been a lot. We're almost in the double digits.
Yeah, we are.
It's crazy. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Sounds good. See ya.
Bye.